guys, the Curious Owl here, and welcome back to another Top 5 Wednesday video. This week we are focusing on favorite fathers or father figures in your favorite novels, and I think some of these are pretty common father figures that a lot of people actually do like, at least a couple of them, but for me they hold special places in my heart for specific reasons. And so without further ado, let me get into some of my favorite fathers and father figures. The first is going to be Haymitch from the Hunger Games trilogy by Suzanne Collins. Although Haymitch is kind of an asshole for a lot of the series and he's nothing but a drunk throughout a lot of it, he still is incredibly caring for both Katniss and Peeta, and it makes me really adore him as a person, especially when you realize in the second book the amount of hardship he has gone through by being in the Hunger Games himself. And although, like I said, he is an absolute asshole and drunk a lot of the time, he does offer some really great advice to Katniss and Peeta. And the more that you learn about him, the warmer he kind of grows on you because, you just realize that he's not that bad of a guy as he seems to be, and he's really just hurting a lot on the inside and needs someone to kind of just be there for him when nobody was at first. The second father figure that I absolutely adore is William Fitzgerald from the Diviners series by Lopa Bray. I just finished this audiobook earlier on the day that this is being recorded, and I just adore him so much, even though he is kind of aloof and strict throughout the series with Evie. But I think that there's just still a lot of love there, and he's not quite sure how to express everything that he is going on through his mind at any given time. But he does care for Evie a lot, and as you go through the novel, you really see that a lot, especially when he finds out about the ability that she has in the Diviners. And I think he kind of grows on you also as another father figure, just like Haymitch, where you think he's kind of an asshole, but the more you learn about him and the more he kind of interacts with the main character, you kind of see him to be a lot more of an actual person, and you really seem to kind of not exactly identify with him, but you kind of get to like him a little bit more as the story goes on. Next is Dumbledore from the Harry Potter series. Honestly, as much as I think that Dumbledore was really stupid in the first book for not telling Harry everything that he should have, that would have saved them a lot of trouble further on in the series, there is no denying how much Dumbledore cares for Harry, despite the fact that a lot of people speculated that Dumbledore had a thing for Harry because he was gay. I highly, highly disagree with that, because I remember that conversation coming up and I was just like, you know what? No, he's not a pedophile by any means. He just deeply cares for Harry because he understands the amount of things he's gone through, and he understands how he's still kind of hurting as a kid. And he just wants to be able to help him get through what he's going through and prepare him for the things that he is going to be coming up against like a real father would. And I definitely think that Dumbledore sees a lot of himself in Harry and sees a lot of Harry's father and mother in him, that he kind of just wants to protect him like his own son. And I just truly adore him for that, despite the fact that he was kind of stupid and could have told Harry everything right in the first book. Next is Macon Ravenwood from Beautiful Creatures by Kami Garcia and Margaret Stoll. You guys know I wasn't going to let this one slide by any means, because Macon is honestly one of my most favorite father figures in the entire world. He's very much like Haymitch and William Fitzgerald, where he's very kind of cold and strict, and he doesn't really let Lena do a lot within the story. But when you understand kind of the situation that she is placed in and the amount of responsibility that he has over her, and then you see him kind of continue to interact with Lena and Ethan throughout the series, you truly grow to love him because of the fact that he is risking so much of himself to protect his niece and protect the people that he truly cares about. And he's such a brooding man, but he's also so lovable, and you just grow to love him the further you get in the series when you realize just how much he's sacrificed for her. And finally, the next father figure that I really, really enjoy and absolutely adore is Star Carter's father in The Hate U Give by Angie Thomas. I've noticed a current theme with this Top 5 Wednesday is that it's kind of unlikable characters in a sense, Dumbledore being the only exception, but Star's father in this series is a former drug dealer and former gang member, and he's risked so much. He even goes to jail for a long period of time in order to kind of get himself out of being in the gang so that he can come back later and take care of his family and take care of Star. And I remember listening to this at first on audiobook, and I just loved him so much. I loved this family dynamic so much within this story, because I think that her father is one of those men where he's incredibly honorable for what he's done, but he's also, you know, he's got his own problems and his own demons that he's had to deal with. And that's a huge thing that is brought up within this novel, is this idea of, you know, former gang members and kind of how they're looked and how they're viewed in society, despite the fact that they've made their own way in the world outside of that, and especially if they've gotten out of the gang. So there you guys go. Those were all of my favorite fathers or father figures within novels, and I think that they all kind of have a similar theme going on, where, like I said, they're kind of unlikable, but you learn to like them for different reasons as you go on in the story, and I really liked that a lot. Let me know who are your guys' favorite fathers and father figures in literature. It can be literally anything from any book, and let me know what you guys think of these answers, if they could be considered, you know, great fathers and father figures. And this is absolutely perfect because Father's Day is just around the corner. It is going to be literally this coming Sunday, so thank you to all the fathers out there that are taking care of your children, and or single mothers if you are actually playing both mom and dad, because a lot of times those people are so underrepresented when it comes to, you know, family dynamics. And just know that you are all appreciated for making the strides to take care of your families, and you are greatly appreciated from me. So thank you guys so much for joining me in this video. If you guys did enjoy it, please do give it a big thumbs up, and if you're not already and you'd like to be, hit the button down below and subscribe to become an owlet in our flock, and I will see all of you guys in my next video. Bye guys!